So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you guys finally found me. Here I am. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope these messages resonate with you and that you guys stay, subscribe, like, comment, share. For those of you guys returning, I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed to do your reading again today. Today's reading, we're looking at the next 7 days, the week ahead, 10 days, okay? This isn't set in stone. It's the energy, immediate energy coming into existence. This could be something you're already sort of going through, okay? If this sounds like old energy, there might be another pile for you, okay? So sometimes we tap into passing energy. It could be far future energy. If that's the case, then it might not resonate today. All these readings are timeless though, okay? Energy doesn't sit in form. And so therefore, we could be tapping into different sort of parts of us energetically in different parts of the timeline. So don't force anything to fit, okay? Use your intuition in regards to whether this messaging is for you or not. These are the decks I will be using for this reading. We will be pulling the cards together, okay? And I will put timestamps to the direct message. And you can feel free to skip wherever you feel called to, although I do suggest you use your intuition throughout the card layout in order to tap into the energy to see whether it is your messaging or not, rather than running with a channeled message that isn't really your message, okay? I can't control this, and it should really be something reflecting back to you through a clear intuition, okay? Whether it's a resonating message for you or not. So, beautiful angels, these are the decks. We'll get into your picks shortly, and I will see your picks. Hello, gorgeous angels. Here are your 3 picks. So we have the feather. It kind of looks like a feather duster, but I think it's just like a floral addition, okay, to any sort of bouquet here with the blue feathers. Did I call it? Yeah, feathers. Sorry, I'm getting confused what I just call this thing. What side should we leave it on? Let's leave it on this side here. Option number 2, we have this orangey lotus flower. Option number 3, we have this piece of chalk, Crayola chalk. Crazy art, it says on it. And my hand's all chalky. So, gorgeous angels, sit with this. Use your intuition. It's absolutely fine to be drawn to multiple piles, okay? Not everything is going to resonate 100%, but it should be the overall energy in the pile that sits with your intuition, that has messaging for you. So I will put the timestamps below, and I will see you at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angel. Pile number 1, you pick the feather duster, okay, or feather floral arrangement thingy, majigger. Let's put it right here, okay, and let's pull the cards together. Now, you can definitely skip straight away to your channel message. This does take some time. Some of you guys like to see the cards being pulled, okay, but mostly I do this, so, well, for lots of reasons. Those of you guys who like to read, this may help you to develop your divination skills, okay, but this is really about you diving into your intuition and telling your intuition from sort of mind and wishful thinking and projecting and that sort of thing, okay? So this part is something that is going to either resonate with you or not, and if it doesn't resonate, this most likely isn't your channel message, okay? So this is why I include this, but let's take a look at pile number 1 and the week ahead. Now, when I say the week, I use it loosely. I'm getting very hot in here, although I had chills earlier. The week I'm using loosely because energy doesn't fit in form or timeline here. Okay, so this is like upcoming energy, immediate energy. next 7 to 10 days-ish. Could be something coming into existence or out of existence. Okay, use your intuition. So we have these cards off the hop. I'm going to pull 3 more. 5 of Swords revealed itself for pile number 1 in regarding to the week ahead. I feel it's like that. Okay. We'll reveal the bottom of the deck shortly. Let's get these oracles. There's not too many. Spirit, clear and concise message regarding pile 1 and the week ahead. We have this bulldozer sort of flattening out the land. This looks like some indigenous people of the land here watching the land being cleared. It's kind of an uncomfortable feeling here. Maybe something we thought we owned in some way here. Or I don't know how I feel about that. That's too many. Spirits, pile number 1 in regards to this messaging, the energy for the week ahead, what they can expect energetically coming towards them. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Please help me to channel this in a way pile 1 will understand. I feel one more. There it is. Okay, we have 3 more oracle decks to go through here for pile number 1. Energy coming towards them for the week ahead. Take the one that revealed itself, which is the Golden Rose. 58. Could be a significant number for you. Spirits, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. What is the energy that they can expect coming towards them for the week ahead? Immediate future. What's going to happen in the next week for pile 1? Thank you so much. And finally, one of these, the week ahead for pile 1, Spirit. What can they expect energetically for the week ahead? For the greatest and highest good. So you have some Gemini energy showing up here. Okay. Boop. So let's take a look at what we have. Gemini, you guys can read this. It says, I think. So ruling planet for Gemini is Mercury, so I'm getting some magician energy. Okay, so we have the bulldozer like I showed you, and the indigenous people taking a look at something here, getting flattened. We have this lady, and it looks like 2 children who depend on her. She looks worried about something, like she may be foreboding something or knowing of something that these children shouldn't worry about. Carrying some sort of burden here. I need to protect others under her care. Here it seems like, again, I keep getting drawn back to this. It's like an energy of like what was mine and having no control over, like, I don't know, observing someone just coming over into our own space and like making it theirs or doing what they will it to be. But once we felt safe there or connected there. All right, and we have this woman, and she has a child on her back. I have to cover this up. Okay, and she's working on her knees here with the child, so she's making it happen despite the difficulty. And you see people in the background here carrying, I don't know, jugs of water. It's like a working sort of energy here, working to survive. It's a difficult sort of energy. Okay, if I got to be honest, this person is, are they getting in the egg or out of the egg? The egg is hatched. I just heard Humpty Dumpty cannot be put back together again. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then we have the Golden Rose. Okay, so sometimes this energy is like, you know, perfect state is sort of this ideal thing. And like we can never really attain some sort of perfect state of something, but there's like the thorns, the ups, the downs of the rose. it's like we might think it is, and then it takes a turn. It's like we experience a lot of different things, you know. It's not necessarily good or bad. It's just, you know, this sort of idealized state potentially that we're aiming for. Okay, feeling invaluable. 12 and 3. So 12 is hangman energy, which is Pisces. 3 is Empress, which is Taurus Libra. Okay, 12 is also world, because that's 3. And so the world is about a successful conclusion. The yellow is giving me solar plexus, and we have feeling invaluable. It says get rejected. Anonymity, defeat, failure, poverty, and unfortunate. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay. 5 swords. We could definitely talk about defeat. Okay, could talk about unfortunate. And then we have 5 clubs. There's that feeling again. And this is 5 wands. Okay, 5 wands is not as harsh as the 5 swords. 5 swords could be harsh words, arguments, actions, intentions of people, creating all sorts of sabotage, betrayals, okay, or even our own. Whereas 5 wands is sort of more conflict, or like a disagreement. And sometimes is even like being challenged. You know, sometimes it could even be playfully being challenged. It could be inner conflict. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have? We have the fortune. And so this is a wheel of fortune energy. Although in this deck, it's just fortune. Okay, I think it actually has a wheel of fortune as well, because this is card 9 in this deck. All right, fortune. Interesting. And then we have Sagittarius. Jupiter energy is coming through with this fortune. It was also coming through with this. It says determined to Jupiter, which was standing out for me. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. And then we have the 10 clubs, the 10 wands. Okay, 10 wands. It could be we were feeling world, which was successful conclusion. 10 wands could be the end of something, but through like an organic sort of buildup where we can't carry the burden no more, something that's left to put down. You know, carrying the stress all ourselves, or the work, or yeah, there's something about heavy lifting and work. Stressors. Okay, we have the Leo. Okay, so some Leo energy, and this is 33. 33 is a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. Okay, and then we have the King of Coins in reverse. So King of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn in reverse. Then we have the 3 of Wands in reverse, is 3 clubs. So sometimes the 3 wands in reverse could be just, it's things fell apart, or plans didn't go as expected, or we can no longer go down that path. Okay. And we have the Jack of Swords. So it's not really a page, nor is it a knight, but it's kind of somewhere in between with the Jack of Swords, you know? It's kind of getting, yeah, somewhere between page and Knight of Swords. Okay, but in reverse. I think it was in reverse. Yeah, so this sword energy, it could be something quite, I don't know, I'm getting words, you know, hurtful words or something like this. Maybe someone a little immature, or someone sort of a little reckless, or taking action without thinking. Okay, and then we have the 8 of Swords. So 8 swords is about a mental prison, a belief, which comes through with this, I think, because it's in our mind, some sort of limitation, some sort of belief that makes us feel stuck or hostage or limited in some mind story, okay, that we feel we cannot move from. 2 swords in reverse, same sort of energy where we can't move or something like this, except this 2 swords is in reverse, which could mean a decision is made that we do not like, that maybe we didn't make, you know, if we sat on something and a decision is made, or we did make something that we regret. There seems to be some sort of harsh action here or something like this, you know, but it puts an end to stalemate. So in the positive, we're no longer going to be sitting here with indecision or in a stalemate or crossroads. It's like you're revealed or something like this. Okay, let me sit with this energy and then channel what your message is for the week ahead. It doesn't feel very pleasant, and I don't like delivering unpleasant messages, but as you know here, I deliver what I see. All right. So if it's not your message, you can go to another pile. Okay, gorgeous angel. This could be your energy, someone around you. Okay? Conflict. This conflict could have already happened in my past position here. An argument, somebody sabotaging or doing something. I do feel like there was an impulsive action that was taken. Okay, I don't feel like it was, in order to create harm, although it is creating something that isn't very good here, because I feel like whoever energy I'm reading here, is sort of now sitting in the aftermath of how they reacted or acted. And it was sort of reactionary in some way. And I do feel like there's sort of a mixture here. There's an energy of maybe sitting conflicted for some time, or unable to sort of move or be pointed or decide clearly because of a push-pull or a mixture of ideas or limiting thoughts or some story that we believe. And then there is an argument or an action that happens, or I take action based on this energy that I'm in, or action happens as a result of me not doing anything. But whatever happens, because something does happen, it's conflicting and it creates conflict and a not good situation here. And this not good situation we're carrying because there is nobody here to carry it but self, And so it is always our decision whether we want to carry burdens or not carry burdens. But I feel like this is a burden we're carrying here because of our own decision making or lack thereof, or choice to do something that might have been very impulsive, or say something or do something here in regards to letting the ego sort of drive here. Maybe we were really concerned with attaining some sort of something, maintaining something. I feel like it was more, I wanted to maintain either my stability, my safety, or the world as I knew it because it was safe or it was familiar or I knew what it was. And so this is what kept me sort of not moving, or this is what kept me sort of conflicted, was because maybe there was an undertone of understanding that there was something else or something more, or a decision or time to go or time to spread out, or I don't know, do something different, it might have been just falling upon you if this is your energy again. And it's like, instead of doing this, I'm going to stay here, or I'm going to pretend like the decision isn't in front of me. Maybe avoid it, maybe just sabotage by doing nothing in some way. And then the time comes, the rooster comes home to roost. And all we could do is sort of sit there and, as poor bystander, watching it sort of fall apart. Whatever the it is, I don't know, something that we built, something that we thought was our sturdy, stable thing, or the thing we were trying to hang on to that gave us some sense of maybe eventually I'll get to this stable place, or it is already my stability. But I feel like what Spirit's really saying is it's a false sense of stability because there was no growth here. And I feel like this energy that I'm feeling here was, like a comfortable spot, an illusion of stability, although it wasn't providing the ultimate sort of reward, if you will, for ourselves. Okay. And I feel like this whole thing that's happening here is in order for something to be reflected back to us, back to some thought that we have. I think the thought that we had was really limiting us and our movement and our decisions in our life when it comes to this regard. Because I was telling myself I had to stay there for fill in the blank reason. This is my security, or this is my stability, or this is where it's safe, or I don't know, whatever fill in the blank is different for all of us. But the point being, it's still 8 swords. It's an untruth. And this untruth has led to conflict. This untruth is now seeing the consequences, the ramifications of the action or lack thereof, of my conflict, of my inability to be pointed or take action or be confident and aim towards a growth or a decision making that would deal with the situation once and for all. Because this situation, I feel, was supposed to be dealt with. How was it supposed to be dealt with? I don't know so much, maybe acknowledged, maybe worked with, maybe, I don't know. And now it's like, I can't go back. Like Humpty Dumpty can't go back, The situation is broken in some way. Okay, now when I say broken, it's just changed. It can't be back to whatever it was. And put back together in a way here without it being visible that it's a blatant mishmash of things that can't go back together. Just like gluing a shell back together after the baby bird comes out. Like, no, it's not. It can't be. And the baby bird's no longer in there. Okay, so now I'm getting with baby bird and the children here and this shell. What I'm feeling here, the situation, okay, whatever the circumstance is, I think what we were doing subconsciously or consciously, one or the other, okay, but it's still 8 swords, so we were still getting clear truths. We were still under some belief system that whatever we were doing was going to protect me, and my inner child was actually driving these actions. So when we have an inner child that's driving actions that hasn't been acknowledged, hasn't been, like nurtured, seen, understood, and loved, it's going to cry out and do whatever it needs to do in order to be seen and get what it needs in that moment. And what this child always kind of wants is safety, protection. Okay, and so it's going to do whatever it needs to do, including sabotage, including staying put, including settling, including resisting, including ignoring, including staying in denials, including everything it can, because I'm going to do everything I can rather than the thing that puts me in front of danger, even if there is no real danger, but it feels like perceived danger. And so the adult self or the 3D self that's in control is the one, in control. Again, control is an illusion, but calling the shots. The one calling the shots here has a decision to, either be conscious of their choices and what they're doing, or they could be subconsciously just sort of reacting and doing things. And this is out of program of protecting this inner child thing. There's an inner child that needs to be seen, loved, appreciated, accepted, and welcomed exactly as it is without forcing it to change or be different. And a process of trusting that the situations in front of us aren't necessarily threatening this inner child, and decisions that are actually legit or that have to be looked at seriously from a place of non-8 swords and considered can only come from a healed perception, meaning that the inner child is the noisy inner child, the driver and the intent of that inner child must be silenced, looked at. Okay, now when I say silence, it's not shush the little child and try to do opposite, because we're just creating more resistance, and what you resist persists and creates suffering. The only way through this resolution, if you will, is to acknowledge the inner child and address what this inner child is thinking that it needs. And what this inner child wants is obviously protection, security, and stability. We all need this. And if we don't feel this way, we perceive things different than how they are, okay? And so I feel like we're creating our own suffering here. We've created a situation of suffering, and we don't like to believe that we're the creator of our own suffering, because it's always someone else did something. Someone else is ruining my stability. Someone else is coming in, being a bully or doing something I have no control over. I can only watch them as they do whatever here, But I feel like things are getting stabilized. We might have been highly unstable here. And so when the egg cracks, it's like there's nothing left here but to look at what came from the inside. And what's on the inside is the baby bird, the inner child, the thing that was really behind it all, And I'm seeing the meme with the what is it, Scooby-Doo and the red herring, and like he's like, who was behind this all along? He takes the hood off. It was you. It was you. You were the one all along, you know? I don't know if we're ready to accept this. And I don't like delivering this because we always want to be the one that's, you know, in the right here. But obviously there's other people around here, you know, and other people are going to do what other people sort of do here. But I don't feel like what's coming through here is like, you might have been really sold and believed something to be true, like this is mine, or I am right, or this is where the stability is, or this is how it needs to be done, or how it has always been done, or this is true for me, which is sort of a truth, right? It's true for you, yes. But this doesn't control everything outside of us that it might be under other realities, meaning, and no one's going to sort of, what's the word, acquiesce to your sabotage or your delusions. Okay, swords is why I'm saying delusion. It's a strong word. But if I truly believe, again, I am a unicorn and I really feel it, and not being facetious or funny or weird or trying to just be odd or have attention, and I really believe I'm a unicorn and I start eating grass, does that mean all my neighbors and everyone else is going to be like, yeah, good unicorn, keep eating it? Yes, you are. No. You know, yes, they could say, yeah, I accept the fact that you believe this, but I'm not going to buy into your delusion. Don't bring me into your psychosis. You have a thing here. Okay, again, if it's not you, it's not you. I don't know. And this person, which I'm calling you, has been in an energy of trying to guard this sort of thing that was actually more damaging, because the more we skirt around confronting and speaking truths and dealing with what we have to, I feel like the more it sort of became sensitive, that we needed to protect it even more, and the more actions it was doing, and the more it needed to avoid, and the more difficult it became, a 10 wand situation. At a certain point, you can only bend and ignore and pretend and make up stories, and you know, it's like, I want this to be a truth, you know, I want to see myself as valor, or as doing this ethically, or I don't know. It's like we had some idealized thing, I think, about our own situation, or who we thought we were doing it for, or why we were doing it for. And it's like, are we sure about this? Or was this an ego-driven thing that was really out of shadow, that was protecting some pain, that's now been exposed, that's now being bulldozed and flattened, and it hurts. And it hurts because we feel like it's being bulldozed. Meanwhile, it might just be a soft little feather. And feeling like a bulldozer. And now I'm angry at the bulldozer. Why are you so violent in bulldozing this? No, I'm actually just showing you a feather. But you're 210 wands. It's something that you slept on, or didn't see, or want to see, or acknowledge. And so it created turmoil. It might have created arguments. It might have created tension in your environment. Whatever it did, I feel like it is heavily internal for sure. But the external world is now, it was seeping into the external world. And now we can't put the genie back in the bottle, or Humpty Dumpty back together again. That's a good thing, you know. But does it hurt? Sure. Some things are taking twists and turns here, you know. I don't know here. Like, I feel like there's people around. Are there people encouraging this? You know, I feel like maybe there's people encouraging this, or in the same dark, or in the same situation. It's like, so it made it okay. No, it could be a million people, a billion people on earth saying it's okay, it's okay. You know, the convid, it's okay, safe and effective. Okay, so it doesn't matter, 8 billion people. I'm not going to do what everyone else is saying to do. Look at the devastation here. I think your environment has people maybe that are also just saying, okay, be the unicorn, feeding you grass or like feeding this belief. And so it makes it okay. Because when other people are sort of saying it's okay too, or doing it too, now I can justify this within me. It's like, no, the truth is still the truth. So I think there's nowhere to hide. And the only way through, Spirit is saying, is to drop the defense, which might be very uncomfortable because there is no more sort of this protection that we wanted, But it's like, you don't need it. You really don't need it in order to heal this thing. You thought you needed it. Obviously, we need stability and security and to feel safe. But the only reason why we weren't feeling this way was because of a past experience. And now everything sort of seemed threatening. And it seemed like we had to tiptoe and do all these things. But 8 Swords, it's like, no. The only thing we need to do is acknowledge in this present moment what is real, not infuse it with situations and experiences and thoughts of the past that are casting shadows on this situation. So this is difficult, and although it's difficult, I think it's much needed because we can't go down this road no more, and we have to sort of own up to something. And the way to do this, I think Spirit wants you to be curious, which would require a sense of letting go, like putting down the burden, to be curious, like, well, how will this unfold? Like, not to be sort of clinging to and still manipulating and forcing it to go in a certain way. I don't think you can anymore. I think it got too heavy. And I think the thing happened here. And so you're incapable of going down that road. If you do it, it's like you're only fooling yourself, And I don't think you want to fool yourself. Like I said, gluing the shell back together. Look at this baby bird's about to hatch. Meanwhile, you can clearly tell it's already hatched. No one's going to buy it. Not even you. Okay? So you might still be in an energy here of, like I said, this is coming through. Like, look at this bulldozer, look at this person, look at this situation external from me, making me feel rejected, making me feel defeated, making me feel threatened, making me feel, it's like, no one's making you feel anything. Your inner child here has created a situation that is being manifested outside of you from the inside out. The only fingers to look at is the within. So if you're feeling rejected, where, why? 8 Swords. Nobody creates 8 Swords except for you. You can either hang on to 8 Swords or acknowledge 8 Swords. You can either undo 8 Swords or hang on to the 8 Swords. That's always up to you and has been up to you. But what did you do? You set 2 swords. 2 swords, 2 swords, 2 swords until 2 swords were no longer 2 swords. Because an indecision turns into a decision. Because making something rash based on an 8 Swords has consequences. And we don't like these consequences. And maybe we're trying to put it together again, I feel like someone's cleaning up this mess. And maybe someone was always cleaning up this mess. And now it's like, there's no one left to clean up this mess but us. Because it's our mess, really, at the end of the day. It's our inner child mess, And we could say, well, I didn't create the trauma or this inner child thing. It's like, we are not responsible for what has happened, but we're 100% responsible for our energy and what we carry and what we undo and what we see and what we say and what we believe. It's all under our ability to work with our own energy. No one can do this for us, period. End of story. So no matter what happens out there, it's always within our ability to control how we intake it. Nothing can get into us without our acceptance, without our buy-in. Okay, so pile number 1, I'm sorry, this is your reading, maybe it's not you, someone you're working with here, but I feel like the challenge, those already happened. That's the thing. It's not like I'm telling you you're going to get into this big challenge. I feel like it is happening, like, as you read this, or as you hear this, okay, what I feel is like coming in is like, I can see that things have fallen apart, and now I got to deal with the aftermath or the consequences of this thing. And so if I run, I'm avoiding, hiding, gluing the egg back together and keep feeding this 8 Swords. I think the choice here is now, like, I don't even see it as a choice, but I mean, we could always choose to still stay 8 Swords, but it's like, there's no more going down this path. No more. It's falling apart here. Okay? Pile number 1. This is your reading. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful angel. Pile number 2, you guys picked the orange red lotus flower. And we're looking at the week ahead, loosely, the week ahead, okay, and looking at the energy that's around you. Now, this could be going out of existence or coming straight away into existence. Okay, this is immediate energy for the week ahead loosely. So let's ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for pile number 2 regarding the energy coming in for pile 2. Please help me to channel this message in a way pile 2 will understand. Thank you, spirits, and thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. Please keep in mind that I could be channeling energy around you, meaning it's not your energy, and I might channel it as such, okay? Whatever strong energy comes through is what I'm reading here. So the best way to know whether this is your pile is to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear throughout this card layout to know this is your message. And you can go straight away to the channeled message if you are already developed with your intuition. I will put a timestamp below. Feel free to skip ahead because this process takes some time. And we're looking at the energy for pile number 2 for the week ahead. What's going to happen here energetically? What's around them? What's their energy? What do they need to know about this energy for the week ahead? Thank you, Spirit, for this message. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of the viewer. And one more oracle, and then we'll get into the tarot. Week ahead for pile number 2. Okay, see, just had a cascading tower happening here. All right, so this is the Minciati Tarot, which is not your standard. It has all the zodiac signs and the elements and added cards in here. Okay, so let's ask Spirit for a clear and concise message regarding pile number 2 and the week ahead. What do they need to know about the energy for the week ahead, spirits? We have the 3 swords sitting sideways. Clarifying the 3 swords. And finally, for the week ahead energy for the week ahead for pile number 2. I'll move this over so I don't have to. I guess I'll move this anyway. It's kind of distracting me. Sorry, guys. I've got to get comfortable. So, bottom of the deck, we have the Scorpio. Oh, my goodness. So, Scorpio energy, very intense here. Okay. And we have 3 swords sitting sideways. 3 swords is someone's words, actions, intentions created suffering. We could be feeling a loss here, okay? This could be heartbreak. It doesn't have to be in love or intimate relationships so much as a breakup, but it could just be feeling separated, you know? It could be losing the job we like or the opportunity or feeling abandoned or something like this. Now, this is in the past position, so I don't feel like it's coming forward. This would be something we're experiencing. Maybe we're overcoming heartbreak or something like this, or we're starting to feel lonely or something. Let me see what's going on here, Spirit. We have Mercury is a planet of the mind. Interesting because pile 1, we had Gemini, which was also of the mind. This is, I think, you could be connected to pile 1 if you were called, okay? So Mercury, ruling planet for Virgo, Gemini. So I'm getting magician energy from this. Okay, communication, thoughts, manifestation. And we have this snowman looking like Frosty the Snowman in this snowy mountain area. Okay. And we have this woman looking out the window, although there's a little, I don't know, a reflection here in the window of her eye. So she's catching her reflection somehow here. I'm not sure what that means just yet. And then we have Uranus. Wow. So some Aquarius energy. This could be tower energy, which we're feeling with my cards toppling over here, okay? Or it could be the awakening, which is the judgment energy. Either way, we see the lightning, which could be something sudden. Hands could talk about taking accountability or taking action or doing something here. Something feels maybe sudden or shocking or realizing, or we're seeing something here. Maybe something that was buried under the snow or frozen for some time. I don't know, but it could be something very deep with the Scorpio here. See, narcissism. Oh my goodness, 61. Mental tendency, stress level, self-obsession, egotism, self-love, selfishness, navel-gazing, and self-adoration. Number 7, type 7 enthusiast, thinking centered between pleasure and pain. So 7 is the number of faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding, spirituality, intellect, personal growth. Okay, but 7 could be chariot, which is integrating of shadow. Okay, so a form of narcissism is definitely formed from shadow, ego. Okay, and then 7's also tower, which we were feeling from this lightning, and my cards all shifted-y-doo-dah. So let's see, what is this energy? The devil. Oh my goodness, what are we dealing with? The devil incarnate here, a little narcissist. Devil in reverse, Capricorn energy. A 9 of coins in reverse, 9 pentacles. Kidoki, smoky artichoke. Leo, this came out for pile 1. Okay, we can have a Scorpio, a Leo, or a Capricorn placement in our chart, or dealing with somebody such. Or Gemini, Virgo here with Mercury. Okay, 9 swords. Jack of swords, this came out for pile 1 as well. So a jack's not a page nor a knight. It is kind of somewhere in the middle here, and he's in reverse. Okay. Interesting. We have the knight and the jack of swords. Ace of swords. Wowzers. Ace of swords is all about truth, honesty, and clarity. What's under Scorpio? 2 of cups. Yowzers. What's under 2 cups? Jack of clubs. Jack of wands. Okay, let me sit here with this energy, beautiful people, and see what the heck is going on here. Okay, gorgeous angels. Some of you guys might have been drawn to one. It could be connected. Sometimes I read for like people you're dealing with, you know. One could be one aspect, one could be another aspect. It's definitely possible it comes through my reading this way. I feel I'm reading for you, beautiful angel, who's seeing something you can't unsee. Maybe it's something you didn't want to see, and maybe it was something you wished was different. Maybe it's something you've always seen, you know, but it's like, when will it thaw? Because I feel like we were dealing with a situation or a person, okay, that could definitely be somebody here who has narcissistic tendencies. I don't throw away narcissism or narcissist lightly in this channel ever. I don't call people narcissists, okay, because we all have narcissistic tendencies. But this person that we're dealing with here, okay, could have a heavy sort of emphasis on self. So much so that it creates pain for the people around them, regardless if there is love. And because the narcissist doesn't really love, they only love themselves. And no, a narcissist is acting out of a reaction to a deep, deep, deep rooted pain that they've experienced. And that's the only language they know. The language of love that they know is cold, is shutting people out, is not letting people in. And it could have been built over a long period of time. So how could one with a loving heart undo it? They can't. I'm seeing green here with this toque. Green's all about the heart chakra. Green right here, which again is unconditional love. Okay, unconditional love is the truth because it is God. God is the truth, and God is all love and light. God cannot be dark. Okay, the darkness is just the absence of light, the absence of God energy. And so through love, We could be in situations, trying to work with situations that are frozen over, built over time through some other sort of world, time and place. Okay, so this person we dealt with, the situation was sort of frozen over time. And I don't know if we're just like sort of thrown into the mix, or we've been observing this going on, or have an understanding of this, because I feel like with the one eye, it's the intuitive eye. We intuitively know a greater truth. And what we're seeing in the 3D, we can't no longer see. Or we can no longer avoid that we're seeing it, or we can no longer deny, or we can no longer act against what we're seeing. So the intuition is true, because the intuition can read in other dimensions and pick up intuitively things that aren't expressed or seen. And what this intuition is picking up is beautiful. It's picking up love, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. But we cannot be selective, and there has to be a level of truth that comes through in the 3D that creates safety in a way here that will allow things to unfold truthfully without coercion and suffering, enduring suffering where we don't need to. Obviously, if out of compassion we must suffer for whatever reason, sometimes we choose to, suffer. But when we choose to suffer just out of martyrism or out of ego or out of a desired outcome, then we're not doing anyone any good. Okay? So there's a knowing here and a seeing and an understanding of something we can no longer unsee. It's been revealed to us. Either we just woke up in the middle of the night and finally said, aha, I'm kind of seeing the usual suspects where Kevin Spacey is like Kaiser Scorsese, and he drops his mug, and it's like, wow, at the end of the movie, you're like, oh my gosh, sorry, I just ruined it. Anyway, it's an old movie. I'm channeling in movies now. Anyway, this movie, he has surprise at the end. And this is like, we realize, it's like, whoa, that's what it was, And it's funny that I talk about that, because Kaiser Scorsese, now I'm going to go into this, and like I say, I don't usually channel in movies in case you haven't seen it, and I'm giving away my age, but it's like throughout the movie, okay, there's like this buildup of this big bad guy, and this big bad guy is like so threatening and like smart, and like this has the ability to like plot crime and like kill people and get away with it and create all these things, and who is this person who's like so scary that even the thugs, even like the scariest people on earth, are scared of this person, because nobody really knows who they are. And they kind of, this Kaiser Scorsese is like underground, and like if he wants you murdered, he'll like kill your whole family and leave you alive to sort of suffer. That's the type of energy. Like, wow, narcissism. Okay, ice cold. So this person might have went out of their way, to create harm in some way. But then at the end of the movie, we find out that the Kaiser Scorsese was actually Kevin Spacey, who is like this disabled. He was pretending to be disabled, by the way. Like pathetic, disabled, couldn't do anything energy that he was trying to pawn off. Like, I don't know nothing. I was kind of used. And we feel bad for him throughout the whole movie. Oh, he was used. The poor guy. He didn't know what he was doing. Meanwhile, at the end, we find out because his limp begins to straighten and he starts to walk all normal, like he doesn't have a disability. And he just pulled one off on the cops and they let him go. He went off scot-free. Okay, and he was the mastermind of the crime. Meaning, somebody here is masterminding us something. Okay, it doesn't have to be this extreme, but I feel like they probably know full well. Now, there is a caveat here, because know full well is very, I don't like saying that, We might think we know full well, but it's still stemmed from the shadowy place of the subconscious that is still asleep because of the fact that we don't choose. Okay, I still refuse to believe that we choose to do harmful things or be narcissists or create pain or suffering for us and others. If we had a choice, we'd always choose love. We would, and we can say, no. Some people are actually evil and this and that. The only reason they're choosing this is because there's something going on within them that still hasn't been seen, resolved, and healed. Okay, so this is devil energy coming through here. I don't know. The Antichrist here you're dealing with, okay? Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. What's happened here I think what's happened here is we might have been processing a grief, a detachment from what we love, what we see, what we know intuitively, which is this person. This could be a family member, this could be a beloved, this could be somebody we're very emotionally connected to. And then being slapped with the reality of something very heavy, this person's frozen state, or this inability to move this thing. Like, how do I defrost this? This is bigger than me. This person's issue is extreme here, and it might have been something that they said or did with this Uranus, okay, maybe in the week to come, I don't know, or that recently, that's made me sort of accept some sort of truth now that I'm going to act upon, which is, by the way, is standing up or speaking some sort of truth or taking action on truth, where in the past, I might have just turned a blind eye or accepted the fact that this was sort of what was going on. This is going to take a lot of courage and strength. Okay. Why? Because it takes courage for us to, know a greater truth. And also, if we are also shadowed, meaning there are certain things we need to resolve within self, which is I have a difficult time creating conflict or standing up for myself, or I'm codependent and this person provides whatever. If I say this or do this, I'm going against this natural nature thing. But I feel like I'm creating space or a conflict, and I don't like this because I don't know how this is going to end up. And it's giving maybe away some of my security, but I'm trading it for what? For truth. I'm trading it for what? For standing up for myself. And so this, you couldn't pay somebody, enough to stand in truth and speak truth, because this is what it's all for. It doesn't matter here, how wonderful, or when this, I don't know, there's so many positive things that could certainly be true at the same time, about why this person is different or whatever. But there is a great truth here. And the truth is we need to stand up for ourselves and speak a truth. Because I feel like maybe we've been a part of getting buried in this person's karma or the snow pile here. How do we get ourselves out? And I think maybe we've been buried for some time, mixed in this person's karma. And it's like, how do I dig myself out of this thing? And like now I'm seeing, I don't know why I'm channeling in movies. I'm seeing, what's his name? Olaf from Frozen. Which is funny because I just recently in the last 6 months watched it, and I haven't seen it. But the Olaf character is so fun-loving, It's like it doesn't matter what happens. He's always looking at the positive. He's like optimistic. He's like, "Oh, I lost an arm. He. Like it's okay." Like he's just very like kind of like, what is it called? Like he's never suspecting the worst. He's always like anticipating the best thing ever, or seeing like what could be possible. Okay, and so, yes, this is great energy, but it's like, there's an energy here of like a reality, in the 3D. And yes, 5D is reality, 6D, 11D, 100D is all reality, of course, in other dimensions. We're here in the 3D. And in the 3D, it snows. And in the 3D, we could get buried and frozen and wrapped up in other people's energy and karma and feel blocks and obstacles and weighed down, incapable of feeling like we can move, And I feel like you have a beautiful, optimistic energy that might have been getting weighed down here. And it's like, no, I see a truth. I'm going to speak a truth. And I'm going to act in line with this truth now. Because I might have been going against it. And because, I don't know, again, maybe this person paid my bills, or maybe this was a part of my security, or maybe I was codependent on relationship, or this type of a dynamic, or something like this, So now there's this courage. Okay, and there's dealing with shadows. And I feel like the big shadow is on both sides, because I do feel like standing up might have been a very difficult thing to do and commit to and grasp. And I do feel it's in a relationship with 2 cups. Okay, relationship, we're in relationship with everyone and everything. Relationship doesn't mean, an intimate sexual relationship so much as it is with things. We're in relationship with food, with other people, with our work, with with ourselves even. So this could be aspect of self. But for a lot of you guys, what I do feel I'm reading is you and someone else, and there was maybe an imbalance or a lack of, I don't know if it was equal reciprocity, trust, or just a flow of relationship that needed to be spoken about, seen through, or understood. It's like, hey, we need to address something here and either communicate about this, acknowledge the elephant in the room, or just, bring it to the surface here so that we can deal with it. And I feel like said person, it could be very defensive that you're dealing with. And you might even be a little defensive here, but I'm really getting the person you're dealing with. Why? Because when we are like this, we're guarding something that's buried under a lot of frozen state that we don't want to see. Okay, whatever this is, this could be betrayal. This could be shame. This could be a whole bunch of things that this Three Swords could represent. I experienced some suffering and I haven't overcome it. And how I'm dealing with it is it's now everyone else's problem, because hurt people. And now I'm defensive about it when you bring it up or when you talk about it or when you make me deal with it or see it. And so I lash out, or I might have always been lashing out, hurting you, creating this pain. And now it's like I've sat in the pain too long, or I've been able to process this pain, or I'm just about at the point here where I no longer feel dependent on this pain, or I have to say something because I was becoming dependent on something here. But all I know is you're wanting to be liberated by way of truth and bringing clarity for the greatest and highest good, not just of you, but I feel like whoever you're dealing with here. Because I do feel like there's some form of codependency and a need to sever something that might be toxic, unhealthy, patterns, shadows, beliefs, toxicity. And it could be somebody dealing with some sort of toxic energy that's like, aside from patterns and ways of being, it could be addictions and like, I don't know, like shadows, or like, I don't know, I don't know. It's a very sort of heavy energy here, you guys. Ooh, and yeah, because I am feeling like some sort of a realization that comes to you. Maybe you're seeing things differently now. And it's like, what I think you're seeing is like, I could do things differently, and maybe in the past it was like, I knew that I could, but I didn't, because I didn't fully wrap my mind around it, or how I could do it, or the strength to do it, or the courage to do it, or know that I could follow through with it. And now it's like, I see it, I understand it. And not only do I see and understand, I could take action on it, and I could be accountable and responsible for myself and sort of hang true with it. I feel like there's a truth here that you're hanging on to. You're not wavering in this. You're not sort of doubting, should I not, or maybe putting something out there and then sort of shying back into your shell. I don't think this is the case. I feel like this is calling a spade and seeing where the chips may fall, even though you might have a lot riding on it, maybe emotionally, maybe for some of you guys financially, and maybe just your whole world revolves around this thing, or a resource revolves around this thing, or your day in, day out, or I don't know, something about your everyday energy, your practical energy might be dependent or rely on this person or this situation in some capacity. Okay. And so this is very brave and very courageous to do. And where is this coming from? It's coming from a good place, the heart. I really feel Olaf's coming through, the Leo, okay, which Leo energy is big hearted, all about big love. Obviously Leo has shadow traits with ego and pride and all this stuff. This isn't what I'm feeling at all. I'm feeling from big heart energy. And I think the big heart could sometimes lead us under a pile of other people's karma and other people's frozen shit. And sometimes the big old heart can be connected to where we free ourselves, because I love myself, I love myself, and I love you, brother, sister, enough to speak a truth, because the truth is when I know I truly love, no matter how painful, and it's not my truth. I'm calling you names. I'm calling you narcissist. It's my truth. No, if that's what you think this reading is, this isn't your reading. I'm not endorsing calling people narcissists and blocking them because we're tit for tat and drama. Okay. Because I think people get it twisted. What this is about is I have big love here for you, my brother. I am not holding things personal here, but I am seeing the trauma. I am seeing the codependency. I am seeing the pain. I am seeing your actions leading to frozen state and suffering, your addictions or your bad habits or your inability to cope here. And I will no longer be complicit in you pretending to be something you're not, because I see a great truth. And what you're pretending to be is Kaiser Scorsese, and you're not. You're pretending to be this thing. And this person isn't, I don't think, putting on a show. I think they're pretending to be this thing because to be the alternative would be to be themselves. And to be themselves means to look at the pain. And so I'd rather bury and hide this pain. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to acknowledge it. And so it's everyone else's fault. And I'm going to be here acting like I act, getting away with it. And maybe everyone else sort of just picking up the pieces. Not no more. Not you. Not pile two. Pile two is ready to cut cords. And what are they cutting the cords? The unhealthy cord. Does this mean cutting this person off? I don't know. It might be. It's whatever this cord that needs to be cut that's unhealthy. Because we're seeing through the devil. We're releasing and detaching ourselves from the devil. I no longer want to be weighed down to unhealthy things. I no longer want to be pinched by the pinchers of this Scorpio energy, of this shadow, of this darkness, of this pain of the past that's buried. Okay, I want balance, and I want equal reciprocity, and I want to be valued, and I want to be seen, and I want to share, and I want it to be equal and reciprocal. If I value and trust you and respect you, I deserve respect and trust in return. It's not a one-way street here. This is the communication we're having, or the understanding we're having, enough to stand up for ourselves. I don't know how much is spoken, so much is seen, understood, and to acted upon. Whether the other person understands and sees, who knows? Who cares at the end of the day, you know? Hopefully they do, but it's not your circus, not your monkey. Okay? Pile number 2, this is your reading. I love you very much. I'm sorry it's difficult. People are difficult, but your energy is beautiful. Continue to be like Olaf, okay? Continue to be like this beautiful lion, big-hearted, lots of courage. All right, I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angel. Pile number 3. I've never used chalk for my option. I use the feather. I use the lotus flower, but never chalk. And I couldn't find this right before your reading. And look at it, it's all chalky here. So, yeah, very interesting choice here for you guys. A white chalk. Okay, so what are we looking at? We're looking at the week ahead and the energy coming in. Now, when I say week ahead, it's loosely, okay, because energy isn't fixed in a form. And so the week ahead could be 10 days. It could be something coming out of existence. You could be in it right now. Okay, but it's immediate energy coming in your vicinity. If this feels like old energy, go check out another pile. Okay, and we're asking Spirit for an immediate message in regards for the week ahead, right here, right now, for pile 3. And what's coming in here? Now, this could be your energy around you, but the strongest energy pulls through, so you know what you're dealing with, okay? If I say it's you and it's not you and it's someone else, then it's someone else, but it's definitely what you might be experiencing energetically in the week ahead. So, Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number 3 who is joining me for this reading. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and the highest good of the viewer. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. So grateful and thankful. I do realize you guys have a lot of readers you can go see, and so I do appreciate you coming to spend this time with me. It is highly valued. Now, you guys can skip straight away if you want to your message. This card went flying. I do feel there's one more. But I do suggest, if you're working on your intuition, that you sit through the card layout. And this will help you to sort of, connect to whether this is your pile or not. Best way to do that is to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the messaging feels right for you. Okay. And then sit through that card layout. But if you are in tune with your intuition, like I said, you might want to go straight away to the channeled message. Pile number 3, the week ahead, spirits. What do we need to know? Well, lots of coming out in 2s. Oops, I got to take this call. Just one sec. Okay, I'm sorry. It's family, and I always take calls from family. So, beautiful angels, we're following up with pile number 3 and seeing the week ahead energetically for pile 3. All right, so let's move all of this stuff and pull on the tarot. So, Spirit, pile number 3, the week ahead, energetically, what can they expect? What's going on around them? What do they need to know? Clear and concise message for the greatest and the highest good of pile number 3. Please protect them as I channel this message. Please help me to channel this in a way that pile 3 will understand. Thank you so much, Spirit, for this message. We are so blessed to be here. Coming out in twos, you guys. Well, that one's a onesie. Onesie, onesie, onesie. Is it a onesie? No, it's a twosie. Twosie woozy. All right, beautiful angels, let's take a look at what we have. We have 10 of wands. Yabadoo. So 10s are about closure, you know, but when we get to 10 wands, we can't know more. It's a burden, something that's best put down. We might be carrying more than our share of something here. Glass, 30, or the number 3. Okay, so 3 is about growth, 3 is about relationships, initial success, 3 is about creativity, joy, communication, self-expression, fun, and groups. This glass card is about bringing things into focus. Okay, sometimes glass could be hazy or create distortion. So we have Uranus. Wow, so this is Aquarius energy. It says, I change. So sometimes I get judgment or tower, depending how it pulls through here. I change, so a shift of energy. Maybe a shift within ourselves in some way, or how we're seeing something, bringing something maybe more into focus, and maybe your own responsibility or something, you know. So we have sincerity with 93 and 3. So 3 is really prominent. You might be seeing a lot of 3s. 33 is a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, and joy. Okay, so this says sincerity, authenticity, honesty, truth, veracity, integrity, and directness. Okay, type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity with virtue, growth level. This is the solar plexus energy, the yellow. Then we have red, which is root chakra. This is prostitution. Okay, don't take words literally. We're going to channel what this means. 65 and 2. Collective plague, stress level, degraded behavior, depravity, scam, pimping, belittlement, and manipulation. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Interesting, this is the opposite energy. When we are in integrity, when we're in truth, we're no longer degrading and we're no longer sort of in this other energy. This is like confidence and this is like a lack of confidence, you know. This is like maybe feeling very, I don't know, like unstable in some way here. Wow, okay. And then we have Venus, number 4. So Venus is the planet of love. Love could be talking about relationships, okay? This could be talking about appearances, could be talking about ego, vanity, attraction. We have this deserted town, it looks like, or there looks like a storm's fast approaching, and then there looks like there's some sort of debris here. Is this like, I don't know if this is water, you know, and then like a ship, sort of a shipwreck or something, or like a flood coming to this town. The aftermath of a flood or something. Seeing lots of dark clouds. Oh my goodness. We have this oracle card of some person. It does look like a masculine, and he's leaning backwards, holding his face. It's like what I'm getting from this, almost like, you know, in those movies. I don't know, channeling so many movies. Like when we, you know, those people who walk along the edge of a building and you always think they're going to like fall or something, right? Like they do this and they got to be balanced or whatever. And sometimes they're trying to escape something, you know, like from one place to another to get out of the building. They got to go on the outside so they're not seen or something like this. But to like at any point, if they lose balance, it's like this person looks like they're losing their balance of something, and now they're facing something they didn't want to see. I don't know. I'm getting the cloud energy as well here. Dark clouds. Clouds could talk about confusion, storms. Uranus could definitely talk about a storm because I get tower energy, you know, which is a sudden sort of change. Even this is kind of looking like a storm around this glass. Having to see through the storm or the truth clearly through confusion or something. Oh my goodness. All right, so we have this oracle card. It looks like a business person waiting for some sort of transport, but it's in the city and there's a dandelion growing in the concrete. So a business person, someone of the city, And we see a beer can or some sort of litter. It looks like a rough part of town, but somehow we see a dandelion, which could be signifying nature, natural growth. But a lot of people don't like dandelions, or they have a wrong idea of what a dandelion is. And so they try to spray them out of their yards. Meanwhile, there's a lot of healing properties with the dandelion. It's kind of growing unsuspectedly here. It's like our healing, might come from something natural, maybe something we're not seeing, or maybe something we don't even know is natural and healing for us that we would normally just think is like a weed. Goes my email confirming a weed. I don't know why weed was sounding very, maybe we're smoking a lot of weed. There's also this drinking here. Some sort of distracting cloud energy I'm feeling now. Okay, so we have death. All this crow energy, Scorpio energy. Crows could talk about, like communication from other realms because they travel between worlds. Okay, with the crow, but crow is symbolizing death, release. Multiple crows is communication, people. Okay, this obviously clearly is looking like death too. So we have Scorpio energy pulling through. And then we have this maze. Oh my goodness. So all this cloud energy, which was confusing, or confusion. And this maze is definitely trying to find our way through. And remember I was saying, trying to navigate on the outside of the building. It's like navigating something that might seem tricky. It's like I got to be balanced, or I have like a little room to maneuver. I'm like very tight, and here it's like I'm only forced down a certain way. Like I'm getting, those rats, mice in the maze. It's like when they are in there, they only got to go in the direction in which the opening is for. They can't, sometimes it's so tight they can't go the other way. That's what I feel here, is like it's so tight you cannot go the other way. So wherever it's guiding you is sort of where you end up, whether you like it or not. And I don't know if this is such a great feeling here. Interesting. Okay, so 10 wands. The Leo came out for all three piles. This is in reverse for yours, okay? This is not your standard tarot, so Leo is obviously the sign of Leo. Leo could represent shadow and light, okay? And it's shadow. It could be pride, it could be egotism, arrogance, okay? And it is in reverse here. But like in the light attribute, Leo is obviously very compassionate, big-hearted, full of love, full of confidence and courage, strength. So we'll see what comes through here, but I do always get sort of ego from Leo. So we have the Scorpio, which is shadow, and it is in reverse here too. So we could have a Scorpio or Leo in our chart. Okay, but the Scorpio is coming through with this death energy I was feeling. Pinchers on this Scorpion. It could be some sort of offensive, defensive energy, depending how we use our pinchers. Queen of Clubs. So this is the Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So heavy Leo. And we have the Knight of Swords. This came out, I do believe, in also all three piles, for sure for pile 2. Yeah. Knight of Swords. Okay. And then we have the Pisces in reverse. Wow. Scorpio, Leo, Pisces. Lots of signs coming through here. So we could take the fish sort of literally too, okay, unless this is just symbolizing the zodiac here for you. But fish could signify abundance. It could signify emotions, deep emotions, navigating emotions. We're seeing two, one's going this way, one's going that way. So maybe we have polarizing emotions, or polarized with someone else. We might be two ways about it, feel two ways about it. We could be misdirected in some way. 31 could be significant here. That's also the number 4. 4 is all about stability and security. Okay, 2s are also sort of about balance. So let's see. We have 7 of Cups. So this is that cloudy energy we were feeling, because 7 Cups is like so many options, head in clouds and not knowing. It's like I could choose anything here, and one might be right, one might not be. There's like a lack of clarity in choosing wisely. All right. Same with the fish, is like they swim around aimlessly. There might be a need for a pointed, in the maze. Like I said, there's only sort of one way. It's not going 10 ways from Sunday, getting nowhere fast. We might have to face something we don't want to face. Something's approaching here, Five of Cups in reverse. Okay, so Five Cups is feeling regret, feeling loss, feeling abandoned, feeling sad, looking at spilt milk, something that's happened that we don't like. Okay, but it is in reverse. Strength. Wow. So you guys have Leo and strength, which pretty much means same thing to me, except strength is in the upright and the ego is sort of shedding here. So to have strength would mean to what? To tell the truth, have honesty, authenticity, integrity. To have strength doesn't mean to have shady behavior. Two swords, indecision. Two things that cannot be held at the same time because one means one thing and one opposes the other thing. So either we believe one or the other. And there's two opposing things here and we're wanting to hang on to both, which creates this confusion. Okay, 10 wands under that Queen of Pentacles, which is Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. All right, let me sit here with this energy and see. We have Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. Under the Queen of Pentacles, the Three of Clubs, Three Wands. Okay, beautiful angel. Again, don't know if it's your energy or someone around you. Apply it to whoever or however. There could be two energies here. I'll see as I channel. If I say it's you and it's not you, then it could be someone around you. Okay, if it doesn't resonate at all, it's not your reading. Don't try to force it to fit. This is for someone. Okay, I feel like someone is in the midst of the aftermath. This is kind of similar to One-ish in a way here. Okay, could definitely be connected. What's the aftermath? The aftermath of the storm that maybe we created. How did we create it? By not wanting to deal with it. Maybe we were avoidant and maybe it was brewing for some time. And whatever was brewing was creating devastating destruction, and maybe secluded events or instances weren't really massive because they were just sort of happening. But the end result at the end of the day ends up to this big fat flood. And at a certain point, it's overwhelming because it's engulfed everywhere. And how do you deal with this? So this is almost like the consequence of things piling up rather than dealing with them, and it's difficult. And so we could have sabotaged ourselves and put us in this position. Obviously, no one would choose this and would say, I never chose to do this. Of course, we wouldn't say, yeah, please, can I have some storm with some flooding and some situations that I can't do anything about and feel shitty about and regret? No, but we do this. And why do we do this? Because there's a part of us that acts in a certain way. And this certain way about us is trading off another part about us. This is in reverse, by the way. Sorry, I was just seeing words here. Okay, we compromise ourselves. It's this prostitution energy. Okay, I'm not calling you a prostitute. Okay, it's just energy and it's an archetype. What is the prostitution energy? I trade away my integrity and my integrity, like, is everything. My truth is everything. The core of who I am is everything. And when I act out of line with that, which means anything that's not in integrity, whether someone sees it or not, by avoiding, not being honest, being shady, not acknowledging, not dealing, not being upfront, not being up and up. It's all a big facade, lie, and not integral. It doesn't matter how many ways we painted from Sunday. We could have convinced ourselves it was integral. It was for the greatest good. It was in my highest honor, whatever we wanted to say. No, it wasn't. What it was doing was creating a no-win situation of sabotage here. Because nothing can come good of lies. Nothing can come good of selling my soul or choosing something that I know isn't actually in line with truth and convincing myself or pretending to myself that it is right or okay. It's not. I wasn't seeing clearly. And so the storm was brewing and the storm brewed. And I think we're looking at the aftermath. And so there's no other choice now but to create change. That's our only option. And we might not like that we're faced with just this option, but it doesn't really matter so much what we like, because I think the blessing here is when we are in truth and authenticity and sincerity, only blessings could come. So you're being guided directly to blessings. And it's almost like, a child who fights what they don't want, but it's for their greatest good. And when they're older, it's like, wow, I'm so glad my parents kept at me. Or I'm so glad I kept at that thing that I was like, didn't want to do. It's almost like that energy where it's like we finally see the truth when we get there clearly, but we were under the guise and the assumption of some immature energy or something overtook us. Whatever overtook this person, you, whoever this energy is I'm reading, it was making them act in certain ways, that was going against the greatest good of them and potentially you or a situation here. So they have one sort of direction now. And this has been thrusted upon them, this change, through an experience of an aftermath of something that forced this person to release and change what no longer serves. Why? Because whatever's left there is scrap, so you can't do anything with it. Anything of value now is not here, wherever here is. Whatever is here is just the aftermath of destruction. Maybe it's empty, maybe it's devastating, maybe it's just I can't access anything anymore, It's like I can't lie to myself or pretend there's things here, because it's like when I go there, I can't do maybe what I used to do or see what I thought I used to see, because it's either been removed or it's different now. And so we might have been able to turn a blind eye in the past. And this allowed us to support our negative behaviors or sabotaging ways. And we might have been trying to upkeep some sort of facade with this Venus. Like I'm getting strong first house energy. Okay, like first house, even though I know maybe first house, I think it is Mars, but I'm feeling this first house energy, because I am feeling it's like I am so concerned with my appearance and how I'm looking. It's like, so we were pretending, I feel here. And this is the cost of pretending to be who we weren't. We were selling ourselves, even if we were thinking we were doing it because we were going to be better, or because we wanted to be better, or because we wanted good intention, Maybe we were trying to make a relationship work, because I do feel there's an element of relationship here. And it's like now there's these two different pages, or I thought I was on a different page. And so I wanted to be accepted or seen in a certain way, or liked or approved, or I don't know. There was some sort of manipulation of energy here. And as I did this, not only was I sort of trading myself and sabotaging myself because I was not in line with my authenticity, I was also sacrificing this connection or this situation for this lie. So I put this lie above this thing. And so what's greater then? Obviously, the lie was greater. Your image or your decision to put this at risk. I feel like this person put themselves at risk. And now they're facing the music. And now they have no direction but to face the truth and to see it clearly, no matter how painful. And I do feel they're seeing it clearly, But the remedy is, like I was talking about when I laid these cards, the dandelion. Because people rip the dandelions, spray the dandelions, think they're weeds, they're no good here. But the dandelion is has a bunch of healing properties. And it's this is their medicine, The medicine isn't seen clearly. The medicine is in this direction. The medicine is that the universe is sending their ride to come pick them up so that they can go in one direction. And the one direction is in truth and honesty and integrity. Because people do have the ability to change, And I don't care if we say, well, some things are unforgivable and this and that, and that's fine. We can hold those judgments all day long, But I'm a true believer of Jesus's teachings here. And so forgiveness, 70 times 7, what does this mean? Forgiveness, it doesn't have an amount. You forgive as often as you need to forgive. And this means true compassion and knowing that people are wanting to be appreciated in a way that sees beyond their actions for who they are, because they're more than just their actions. And when we extend that sort of offering, it comes back to us, because we want to also have that same appreciation, compassion, and love and appreciation from others, regardless of what we do. Man, if we were, graded upon our actions, we would all be pieces of shit, you know? There are so many things we're not proud of. So many things. So this person's doing things that they're not proud of, and that's okay. That is okay, you know? We don't need to be something else. And so it's sad that this person thought that they had to be something different, or they had to put on a different show, or they were maybe trying to be something for you, you know, or if this is you, you're trying to be something for someone else. I don't know, but there is an illusion here of creating something that we're thinking is better, looking better, feeling better, maybe better for the whole, but it was little wiggle room. And what does this mean? It doesn't leave enough space for truth. And so any slip up here is like, you know, because the truth always has a way of revealing itself. And so I feel like the storm clouds are talking about, you know, things have been maybe confusing for quite some time. And maybe it was a really big buildup of this, you know, the bigger the facade, the bigger the fall, the bigger the lie, the bigger the pain. You know, the more we sold our soul, the more lies in some way. It's like, wow. You know, so there's a massive contrast here. But I feel like this was really stemmed from a need to feel accepted, okay, or safe in some way with this red. And so I don't know, this person was doing something devilly, you know, and they might still be like this devilly energy that's sort of attached to them, and their choices are devilly and have been devilly. And so we build patterns on choosing devilly decisions because it's all we know. And then we think we're this devil. It's like the devil's within me. It's like, yes, the devil's within everyone, because we all have, like I say, the capacity to have the Antichrist and the Christ within us. And we need to sort of know the difference, because when we're conscious, we make choices. Am I making choice aligned with love and for the greater good? Or am I sort of asleep at the wheel, choosing the devil, choosing the thing here because no one's watching, you know? Choosing the thing here that's sort of not really completely upfront and honest. And we could lie by omission. We could lie by sort of supporting untruths. We could lie by avoidance. We could lie by going around certain things and not acknowledging. And you know, and I think we were trying to tiptoe around the elephant, or like the main truth of something here that we didn't want it to be revealed or seen or understood about us. It's like, well, no, now it's being seen. So that's good. Because only when it's seen can it be dealt with. Only when it's seen can we deal with truths. And so I feel like this energy that I'm reading is someone coming forward somehow, maybe towards you, okay? Because maybe this isn't your energy. I don't know. There's a need for movement. There's the spirit pushing forward this person in one direction. And what's this one direction? The direction of change, no matter how heavy it is, because sometimes we're in an energy of doing things that really make us stretch us outside of our comfort zone. We're always used to doing a certain way, you know, appearing in a certain way. And now it's like I have no choice. And so it's heavy, but it's only one direction. And this direction, I feel, is in regards to wronging rights, moving things forward, allowing things to get better. It is part of this process here. Okay. And so I do feel like this person could certainly be pulled by your energy. If you're this beautiful Queen of Wands, even this Queen of Pentacles, because I do feel like there's a grounded, beautiful energy, and then there's this sort of devilly energy. Okay. And like I say, could be two aspects of self here. And it's like, I only have one way to be. Okay. But this is like to confront, and we're really confronting what we were maybe trying to not see or avoid. And I do feel like there was conflicting emotions, you know, and these conflicting emotions were maybe going in two different ways or several ways, or a push-pull, and it wasn't amounting to anything. It's like, I feel like this, but I also feel like that. Well, this is 7 cups then. It's like we are not pointed. We can't choose, and it's keeping things very cloudy and murky. The Knight of Swords is very direct and takes action, you know, is very precise. And I feel like this is created because of a loss, because of a sadness, because of a disappointment, a regret. You know, I regret doing this or saying this, or how it ended up, or something we're looking back on. And now I have to sort of eat humble pie here, you know, and it takes a lot of courage and strength to do this. And it also requires me to drop my ego. It also requires me to face things that I was too fearful to face. Maybe I was too fearful to face my shadow or my emotions, or maybe I'd get very defensive, or my first reaction is to protect myself and like say mean things, or like stand up for myself and like hurt people. It's like, that's what I do. That's what I know how to do. But it's like, okay, but what did it amount to? What it amounted to was a 5 cups. I do feel. Okay. And so this 2 swords is talking about being at a crossroads. Okay. And I feel like the crossroads is a decision in which we have to make a choice that we were maybe prolonging, and we weren't maybe understanding or seeing very clearly. It's becoming very clear. It's becoming clear that I can no longer stay here in 2 worlds, two minds, two energies, two emotions that contradict each other. Because all this resulted in was a 5 cups and all of this other stuff that is very apparent to me. There's nothing left here. There's nothing to play with anymore. So I have to pick up the sword of truth and act in line with truth and sincerity. This means apologies. This might mean, I don't know, whatever this means in action and words and being honest, what great courage it takes to be honest and say, I screwed up. I fucked up. I did the wrong thing, or I chose the wrong thing, or I did this and I shouldn't have done that, shouldn't, wouldn't, could it doesn't really matter, because like I was talking about, this was all meant to happen in order for there to be something visible, and so the remedy is actually born out of the situation. And so I do feel like a situation here might feel like it's concrete, done, like nothing's going to grow out of this situation. It does feel very toxic, like I said, with the beer can here. Okay, and it's like, I don't know, there's cigarettes and those smoking and all of this stuff. There's litter. It just doesn't feel, and graffiti, like this environment doesn't feel good. And then what? This person's going to work someplace he probably doesn't like, being forced to do, like any which way you paint this from Sunday. Concrete, okay, where's the grass? It's all concrete, man-made. Like all of this feels really not good. This is selling your soul, whatever this is. I keep going to the same work. I keep going to the same thing. I keep doing the same toxic thing that I always do. I can't know more because I know of something greater, which means more to me. We have to choose what means more to us. And I feel like it's easy for us to choose the thing that's easy and safe and we feel more deserving of, even if it's lower, or even if it's settling. It's like, yeah, this is more in line with me. It's like, are we sure? Are we sure? Or we have an understanding of how we think we look? Because I feel like this energy is deserving, just like we all are, of absolute truth and absolute compassion and love, and being in line with this feels way better than the energy this person's been in and upkeeping, because there's an upkeeping of this, and this is tiring as hell. It's tiring as hell to tiptoe around certain things, addictions, behaviors, untruths, devastations, and being drowned in it. It's like I'm being drowned by my own concoction, my own image, my own perception of self. And so this person is coming out, okay, and I do feel they're being pulled by some other grounding energy. Maybe someone's coming to help you. Maybe you have 2 sisters, maybe you have support in your network. We were seeing crows here. Crows can talk, or birds can talk about siblings. We see 2 here and the 1, okay? And so I don't know. So this could be, like I say, 2 aspects of self. This could be somebody who represents 2 sides. One side here, which is the fire, the passion, the drive, the confidence, magnetizing, the manifestation. And then the other one is grounded, compassionate, loving, caring, very practical here, very down to earth. Okay, and so this energy is sort of in line with truth, and it does take courage and strength. Okay, but taking the courage and strength is very sort of heavy when we're stretching ourselves, but what's heavier is to maintain an energy that we did not have success in. It's like it's becoming very apparent and clear. And that's all I know. Okay, and we're heading towards clarity because we're rowing towards the sun. This sun is red. I don't know what a red sun means, I have no idea. But usually when the sky is red, it means the next day is super, super hot, And so super hot, what does this mean? It means intensity. It means, maybe full of passion, maybe full of like life. And I don't know, there's like rowing towards the sun is beautiful. And I do feel this person is shifting and changing because there's been a massive awakening or realization in either an event that has happened, is happening, or an experience or an aftermath of something that's really now just, you can't do anything with it. It's just there now, So I do feel there might be some communication as well that I am feeling, okay, because I'm seeing court cards, I'm seeing birds, communication. Yeah. And I feel like we can't do it alone, like this person's waiting here for a ride. So, but I feel like they have to navigate in a one way, and this was sort of their thing of making. So they're kind of on their own, waiting on their own, but they're waiting for a ride, and I think the ride is like spirit coming and sort of guiding this person out of this energy. But they still need to like navigate And they could still end up sort of being lost, you know? And I think maybe they were fearing becoming lost, but they did lose already. They lost themselves. They were trying to manipulate so much that the true essence of who they are and the truth and the authenticity got lost along the way because of an avoidance of wanting to see or acknowledge something that they, I don't know, it's like leaping to their demise. I don't know what was so terrifying here. It's like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Well, we're about to see it because I feel this person is doing everything under the sun to not see it. And it's becoming very clear, but it's very beautiful. It is the remedy. It's the healing. Okay. And I feel like it's so natural here, growing in an environment that is so unnatural. Like, what a blessing is this, that we actually have it growing here. It is very rare. There's no grass here. But this means it's coming, you know, regardless of where this person is sort of at, where it's impossible for there to be healing, impossible for there to be a remedy. It's like it'll never grow here, or it's like not dormant, what's it called? I don't know, cold, isolated, no growth can happen. It's like, no, growth is happening. Never mind, is happening. It has happened. There's growth here. Okay. And this is going to allow there to be healing in an unconventional way. Unconventional, look, nonconformist, unconventional, originality. Yeah, something here. Okay. And I feel like it might be even unexpected in some capacity here. So, beautiful angel, I hope this made sense to someone here. I love you very much. I hope this helped you. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.